We might just want to pause that for a second until we get the other.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I would like to call for a motion to open the meeting of the Holyoke Planning Board at this point.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Roll call for Kate,
Yes.
Rosanna,
Yes, ma'am.
Gurinder,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
and Mimi.
Yes. And so, everybody, this is Alan Penniman, who's here from agency, and he is leading the project on their side. And we've now got the contract executed. We are beginning to move ahead with the work for the comprehensive plan itself. And since it is the planning board and not just Kate and me who are supposedly running this thing or helping run it, everybody should meet him and get to hear what's going on, ask questions. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Alan.
Thank you very much, Mimi. It's great to meet the rest of the planning board. Thanks for having a little bit of time on the agenda.
Oh yeah, I should have introduced them, shouldn't I have? It's Nathan Chung, who is one of our planning board members, Rosanna Lopez, ditto, and Gurninder Dalawal on the phone. He is the board secretary.
Oh, and introduce Lauren too.
Oh, right, our associate,
She's here.
Lauren Niles, who is here, I think. She just doesn't have her camera on.
No, she does. She's there. Mimi, you've got to update your Zoom.
I tried to update my Zoom. I've been fighting with it just to get my participant list up. Here's Gurninder. Okay. Now that I have made cursory introductions, if you all want to go around and introduce yourselves, or if you want to jump right into it, I am going to step back before I get myself into any more trouble.
Sure. Did you want to do a round of introductions for everyone? That'd be nice.
Sure. Where shall we start? Gurninder, this is Alan. You can't see him, but he is our consultant for the master plan process, or our lead consultant. And if you want to just introduce yourself and tell him a little bit about you. If not, I will not put you on the spot.
Oh, Cardinal, you're muted for some reason. We can't hear you. It sounds like you have the wrong mic setting on. Yeah. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Maybe we should have Alan introduce himself, and then we can all
Yeah.
do it offline individually, just for time's sake.
Yeah.
That sounds good. We're gonna get through this. We'll roll with the technological challenges. My name is Alan Penniman. I'm representing agency. As Mimi said, we're the lead consultant helping the city update the comprehensive plan. We're joined by who I think would be familiar faces to most people here. So we have Niche Engineering, led by Matt Soltis. We're working with Cambridge Economics, led by Dan Hodge. And we also are working with High Public Space, who's out of New York. You're going to meet Alexandra Gonzalez and Preeti Patel. They're going to be leading our engagement. Together, our team has a lot of experience, both locally and nationally. We've done comp plans for the city of Medford, Massachusetts, New Bedford, Massachusetts, and others. I come from a sister gateway city, born and raised Fitchburg, Mass. And most of our team has worked either directly in Holyoke or in Western Mass. So sort of like a local team with a national presence. Prior to my work with agency, I've been a public sector planner for the city of Providence, Rhode Island, and more recently, Detroit, Michigan. So we bring a lot of experience working in post-industrial cities and working on economic development and equity and other aspects in these types of contexts. So In terms of the update for the plan, we're going to be following Chapter 81B. We're working on all 9 of the elements to update the plan. We're anticipating roughly a 17th-month process, so getting into summer 2025. We're going to be kicking off the project on April 11th and 12th. We'll all be in town for some touring and some meetings. I think we have time with some of you. If not on the 11th and 12th, I'm sure we'll be connecting throughout the course of the project. But we're really excited about it. I think we all really cherish Holyoke for various reasons and feel very privileged to be on this project. So we look forward to sort of hearing what you all aspire to, what your challenges are, and how we can flow that into the plan update so we can sort of codify your vision for Holyoke. Thank you.
Thank you. Gurninder, are you back? Okay, apparently not. Lauren, do you want to go ahead?
Sure. I'm Lauren Niles, associate member of the planning board. I'm a realtor by trade and I live in Holyoke, obviously, and am super excited about this project and being involved with it in whatever level I can be.
Okay. Nathan?
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Nathan. I think my main interest is like either ways to create more walkable neighborhoods, maybe not the entire city, but a certain focused areas so people of different needs and interests can, live a life not necessarily with the car required. That's one of my main interests, and rezoning or changing how the city is planned out to make uses a little more compatible with each other, especially if they're next to each other. So thank you.
Yeah, Nathan's kind of a big picture guy. He has ideas about rezoning the entire city.
Well, not necessarily entire city, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to try one more time. Gurninder, are you back with us? Looks like he's here and unmuted.
Yeah, we're not hearing
Yeah.
you, Gurninder.
Tech going on there on his end. The microphone's not picking it up.
Gurninder, can you, if you have your phone, can you speak through the phone?
Now his video is frozen. I mean, maybe we can keep progressing while others.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to speak for him, but Gurninder is a local businessman, some of the best Indian food in Holyoke. Very cool guy when he is able to talk to us. Meanwhile, so does anyone have questions about the process?
You got Rosanna.
Okay, Rosanna? You have to unmute yourself.
Okay, so I'm Rosanna Lopez. Believe I'm one of the newest board members. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm one of the newest board members. I'm a realtor, I do taxes, I do all kinds of stuff. I'm a transplant from many different cities. I do enjoy Holyoke. I'm looking forward to all the new ideas. I'm kind of a person, I like to see things. I'm a visual. So speaking about things really I can't grasp things. I like to see things. I'm very into my community and what they say. I get phone calls and emails about these meetings behind closed doors telling me people's opinions. So I will voice those when they come to me. But I'm very glad that you are with us, and I'm very happy that Holyoke is flourishing in many different ways. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome and sharing your interests. Yeah, I think we're all really excited. So it's gonna be a fun few months ahead of us. And yeah, if there are questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
May I ask
Yeah,
two
please.
questions?
Please.
Yeah, I'm curious about the overall timeline, and well, especially when do you anticipate the plan being complete? I mean, roughly. And secondly, I guess I'm just curious about your strategy to get, different neighborhoods and different populations to be more involved in the process.
Yes, absolutely. So we're looking at summer 2025 to be wrapped up with the plan and getting to the adoption stage. So summer 2025, and hear you 100%. I think one of our priorities is reaching underrepresented populations. It's one of the reasons why we asked Hive Public Space to lead our engagement. Alexandra is a native Spanish speaker, and so she'll be leading our sort of on the street pop-up engagement. So the idea, to follow on the principle of meeting people where they are, rather than inviting folks to big meetings, we're going to try to, tag on to various events like, the Petronales Festival and things like that, and conduct that outreach in Spanish. And when we do create materials and things like that, to make sure that it's bilingual. So yeah, we're going to do our best to meet people where they are, make our events fun and accessible for people of all ages. Oh, sorry, getting a little bit of background noise. But yeah, that's sort of a driving sort of principle behind the way we do outreach.
Thank you. And I just muted the Gerninger's phone.
So have we gotten him back?
Well, I just spoke to him on the work line and he says that he can hear us, but we cannot hear him. So I'm not really sure how to move forward with that. He was talking on a phone. Obviously, I could hear him through the phone, but for some reason it's not picking up through the Zoom.
Well, how about if he has any questions, he can relay them to you on the phone and we can transmit them that way. If not, technology is what it is, and I hate for him not to participate, but if we can't bring him in, we can't.
My guess is he might want to just try switching to a different microphone. Usually a computer has multiple microphones and one of them doesn't work. So he wants to just click that up arrow next to the mic button to bring up the mic menu and select a different microphone. Thank you. And also, I guess he can type into the chat if it doesn't work. I can keep asking questions, but I'm guessing other people got questions as well. I don't know if you're waiting for Gerninger.
I think so. My intention of asking Alan to come was just so that everybody gets to meet him. I know we have a full schedule and we can try to relay. I think one of the difficulties, and maybe we can talk to Jane about this later after we get through other things, is because we have open meeting rules, we can't have too many of us at any meeting with them. And so figuring out how to transmit information back and forth without running afoul of open meeting laws or publicizing the meetings so that we are following open meeting laws. We just have to figure that out. But making sure that you all knew Alan and we can make sure that written information gets back and forth on a timely basis.
Meanwhile, we do have a note from Gernander saying, you guys go ahead. If I have any questions, I will ask. And Lauren. I see
Can
you.
Jeff share a little? Can Jeff share a little bit about how it worked last time with planning board or if anybody else was here when they did the comprehensive plan? Because I agree with Kate that that's like the big question that I have is like, how do we all work on this with the open meeting law? And maybe Jeff has experience previously.
I think Jeff is the only person in the city who was here when the last one was done.
Well, last time for what it's worth, and I'll try to be brief, is the chairman of the planning board co-chaired the executive committee, which was a group of, it might have been a larger committee than anything we may be proposing this time, but co-chaired the executive committee. And then the planning board was allowed to obviously have a seat at any of the meetings, but primarily it was the chair, and then the chairman would then report back to at the planning board meetings. But that most, if not, let's say all, because I don't recall specifically, but all of the members were involved in some sort of subcommittee, whether it was a housing and land use type of thing, or economic development and something else. There was, these 6 or 7 subcommittees that the board members were then either chairing or had a role in the discussions from, and then later would report back to the full board. Now, I'm not sure if that's the plan and how this project's move forward, but that was just how it was done 20 years ago.
Well, and it makes sense. And I would suggest at this point, people ought to be thinking about what areas of this project they'd like to be more closely involved with, because it's a huge project and there's certainly room for everyone to have an active role. Lauren, back to you.
Just one more question. Would it be possible for perhaps Alan and you and Kate to come up with a list of potential subcommittees so that we could understand like what the options are and where we could all be best utilized?
I see a thumbs up from Rosanna on that one. And well, my impression is that this is what we're trying to do over the next few weeks, is figure some of that out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We've been talking about having a general steering committee, but potentially having subcommittees of that steering committee that would be focused on particular areas. I would anticipate that they would, roughly align with the Chapter 81D categories. You might group a couple because there's a lot of them. But if you check out 81D, there's housing, land use, economic development, natural and cultural resources, etc. So I imagine the subcommittees would probably fall somewhat along those lines, but as Mimi said, we're working that out right now.
And the other aspect of this, which occurs to me, is a question from me that I'm not sure I've asked clearly so far in this process. We have, like any city, a whole lot of groups and interest groups, affinity groups. Some of them have already been mentioned because they're the people who the official city always goes to for things. We've got the community college leadership, we've got taxpayers association leadership, we have the various political branches. I'm sure you've already seen a bunch of these from the economic development side of the office. But we also have fairly underrepresented groups that we need to find ways to reach out to on a lot of levels. And I think those may be groups that form their own working affinity groups within the process or even informally, because there may be, say, a group of people living downtown who share common interests, who all came forward when we had that bodega zone change, but who we don't usually hear from outside of specific projects that impact them. And we may want to think about strategies to try to enable those groups to organize and join us on some more formal basis. And I don't know whether that's worth thinking about, whether it's a weird idea that nobody has ever had, but that's why we have consultants. So I don't know. What do you think? Is that a framework we should be trying to pursue?
Yes, I think that's exactly right. Because, to Nathan's point earlier, the traditional methods of engagement, town hall meeting, that sort of thing, often attract the usual suspects. But so I think our subcommittees and our focus groups and those more targeted methods of outreach are better suited for underrepresented groups, where there might be a childcare concern or business hours, things like that. It's hard if you're a restaurateur, for example. So I think if we can start to identify those types of groups, I suspect, subcommittees, focus groups, those sorts of things are probably a better method for reaching them.
Yes, we want, for instance, One Holyoke, and we want the Housing Authority. We also probably want the tenants associations. So to the extent we can collectively brainstorm where to find those folks and who the leaders are, who we should be reaching out to, I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah, and I'm starting to put together some ideas on that along those lines in a list. So if people want to send me stuff, I can collate it.
That would be great. Okay, anything else before we let Alan go and move on to the main event here?
I think I appreciate your time, and hopefully we can, have some deeper conversations and get the work started. Thank you.
Feeling is mutual. Yeah, thanks again for a little bit of time on your agenda and the warm welcome. I think I'll see some of you on the 11th and the rest, at some point during the process. So I look forward to it. I'll let you get back to your regular scheduled program.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Night. Okay, if I can get a motion to recess the meeting of the Holyoke Planning Board.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Roll call for Kate,
Yes.
Mimi,
Yes.
Nate,
Yes.
Rosanna,
Yes, ma'am.
and Gurinder.
Thumbs up.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. If entertain a motion to